Imagine this. You wake up, maybe hear some birds, or I don't know, the sound of a lock nearby.
Yeah.
You've got that total freedom to just go explore. It's that dream, isn't it?
Mm.
The open road.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, the big question is, how do you actually take a van, just a standard van, and turn it into your perfect little home on wheels, your own space for those trips?
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today, camper van conversions.
Right.
And we've got this fantastic guide here. It's from North Coast Campers. They're based up in Glasgow, building bespoke vans.
Oh, okay.
And their guide, it really lays out the possibilities, but also, the practical stuff you need to think about. Crafting something that's, well, as unique as you are, really.
Absolutely. And that's our mission for this deep dive, isn't it? To sort of boil down the key things from their guide.
Exactly.
So by the end, you listening should have a much clearer idea, the confidence maybe, to pick out what you need for your kind of adventures. Okay, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So first things first, I guess. It's got to be about who's going, right? What's your adventure style? And crucially, how many people are tagging along? Does that one decision kind of set the path for everything else?
Oh, it absolutely does. It's fundamental. You see, the number of travelers, that really shapes the whole conversion approach.
Right.
So say you're flying solo, or maybe it's a couple's getaway, then you're probably looking at a two-berth conversion.
Okay.
These tend to be cozy, really efficient with the layout. They focus on smart storage, and by smart, I mean things designed so you're not constantly tripping over stuff, Keeps things less stressful on the road.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Comfortable sleeping, obviously. And a big plus, they're usually easier to drive and park, easier maneuverability. You don't need this huge thing for just one or two people.
Oh, exactly. Easier parking is always a win. So that covers one or two. But what if you're thinking, okay, family trip, or maybe heading out with mates? Is it just a bigger van, or does the design thinking change?
That's a great point. It's not just about getting a bigger box. The functionality has to adapt. So yeah, then you're firmly in four-berth territory.
Four berths. Right.
And these are specifically designed with those extra sleeping spots. Often you'll see clever stuff like pop-top roofs.
The ones that go up?
Exactly. It gives you that vertical space, sometimes even a whole extra bed up top. Or maybe really well-designed bunk systems.
Okay.
The key thing there is you gain the sleeping spots, but you often have to be a bit more, let's say, creative with the living space during the day when everyone's awake.
Right, managing the space.
And then there's another category, kind of for the adrenaline junkies, maybe. You've got specialist builds like race vans or MTB vans, mountain bike vans.
Okay, specific uses.
Totally. These are designed really as mobile base camps. They're built to haul your gear bikes, kayaks, whatever it is.
Serious gear storage.
Yeah, proper storage, often separate, but crucially, they still offer comfortable living quarters. So the idea is you don't have to choose between your hobby and, actually having somewhere decent to sleep and relax afterwards. No more muddy bike leaning on your pillow.
That is a brilliant point. No more compromises. Okay, so this is where it gets really fascinating for me. Once you know the who, how do you figure out the how? The inside flow, the layouts, what makes it feel, less like a van and more like a proper space?
Yeah, the layout is absolutely critical. It dictates how you actually live in the van day to day, cooking, relaxing, moving around. One really popular choice is what they call a walk-through layout.
Walk-through?
Yeah, basically a clear path, usually down the middle from the front driver's seats right to the back doors.
I see. Unobstructed.
Exactly. It gives this feeling of openness, makes it feel more spacious, great for just moving about easily. It can make even a smaller van feel surprisingly airy.
I can picture that. Sounds nice and open. But what if you want something more, I don't know, cozy? Or maybe better for having people over or dinner?
Good question. For that kind of vibe, U-shaped conversions are often the go-to.
U-shaped, like the seating.
Precisely. You get seating that wraps around a central table, usually at the back. It creates this natural social hub, perfect for meals, working on a laptop, playing cards, whatever.
Right, the social center of the van.
Yeah. And the big bonus, that whole area usually converts into a pretty large, comfortable double bed at night.
Clever. Dual function.
Very. Now, stepping back a bit, if you start with a bigger base vehicle, like a long wheelbase van, say.
Okay. More room to play with.
Loads more. Then the possibilities really open up. Large van conversions can have much more expansive living areas, maybe even properly separate sleeping zones, bigger kitchens, proper bathroom facilities sometimes. You're getting closer to like a tiny apartment on wheels.
Wow.
And just looping back quickly to the outdoor folks, those MTB or EMTB vans we mentioned, they often have a really robust design. Think all-weather, dedicated storage, often sealed off, for wet or muddy bikes and gear. Perfect if you're hitting the Scottish trails year-round, you know? You can keep the grime out of your living space.
That is so practical. Okay, layouts make sense.
Yeah.
And then there are all the individual bits and pieces, right?
Yeah.
What are the kind of essential features, the things that take it from just being functional to being, well, your dream van?
Absolutely. Beyond the main layout, it's those specific installations that really personalize it and add the comfort factor. Pop-top roofs, we touched on them.
Yeah, the extra headroom ones.
Fantastic way to expand usable space without making the van physically longer to drive or park. You get standing room, which is huge. Sometimes that extra bed just makes the space feel so much bigger. The insight there, though, is it's not just physical space, it's the feeling of space in what's still a compact vehicle. You do need to think about climate, though. They can affect insulation a bit in really cold or hot weather, something to consider for, say, proper winter trips.
Good point. And windows. You mentioned framing the views earlier. They must be pretty key.
Oh, massively. Well-placed windows are crucial. They let in light, which is vital. Ventilation, obviously.
Right.
And yeah, framing those amazing views you're going to find.
Definitely.
It sounds like a small detail window placement, but it makes such a difference to how spacious the van feels and how connected you are to outside.
Right.
Now, for year-round comfort, especially somewhere like Scotland, diesel night heaters.
Heating. Yes. Essential.
Pretty much essential, I'd say. They keep you warm and cozy even if the temperature outside really drops. Turns the van into a proper little refuge.
Definitely need that. What about the look and feel inside? The finishes?
Yeah, aesthetics and comfort. Custom upholstery is big here. Choosing your fabrics, your colors. That's where you really inject your personality. Makes it feel like yours. And then, for going properly off-grid, leisure battery systems.
Okay, explain those a bit.
Basically, separate batteries just for the living part of the van. They power your lights, the fridge, charging your phone, laptop, all that stuff without draining the main vehicle battery.
So you won't get stranded.
Exactly. It gives you that freedom to stay away from campsites for longer. True off-grid potential. It's kind of the silent hero enabling those remote adventures.
Got it. And beds.
Yeah.
You mentioned U-shapes converting, but are there other types? I think I've heard of rock and roll beds and rub.
Yeah, good catch. So for seating that also needs to convert into a bed, especially if people will be sitting there while driving, safety is key. You'll often hear about RIBE beds and rock and roll beds.
Okay, what's the difference?
Well, they both do the same basic job. Seat converts to bed, but RIBE beds, that stands for reclining isothermal bench, apparently. Not really. But they're generally known for being very well engineered, often crash tested, so they're considered very safe for passengers. They usually fold out smoothly. Rock and roll beds are maybe a more traditional, simpler design. They often literally rock back and then roll flat. Still functional, but RIBEs are often seen as the premium, safer option, especially for carrying passengers regularly.
That's really useful to know, the safety aspect especially. Okay, so we know all these options, layouts, features. It's quite a lot. How do you make sure, if you're investing in this, that the actual work is done well? What should people look for in a converter company?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Choosing the right converter is so important. Looking at our source, North Coast Campers, a few things stand out that are good indicators of quality.
Like what?
First, that bespoke design element. They really emphasize working with the client. It's not just picking package A or B. It's about designing a layout for your specific needs, your dreams.
A proper collaboration.
Exactly. And that flows into the craftsmanship. They talk about using high-quality materials, which is vital, but also using things like state-of-the-art CNC technology.
TNC, what's that?
Computer numerical control. Basically, computer-guided machines cutting the furniture panels, the plywood, flooring.
Precision cutting.
Super precise. It means everything fits perfectly, edges are clean, joins are tight. It maximizes the use of space and just gives that really professional, durable finish. It's not like someone hacking away with a jigsaw in their shed.
Right, a big difference in quality, I imagine. So it's not just off-the-shelf bits bolted in.
Not in a high-end bespoke build, no. It's tailored. And this attention to detail, according to the source, should extend through the whole process. Good communication, good customer service, right from the first chat to when they hand you the keys. It should feel like a partnership.
Yep.
And ultimately, all this quality, it means the van is built for adventure. It needs to handle bumpy roads, Scottish weather, the
Right.
rigors of actual travel. It's got to be robust and reliable, not just look good in photos. You need confidence. It won't let you down miles from anywhere.
That's such a crucial point. Reliability.
Uh.
Wow. Okay, we have definitely covered some ground here today.
We have indeed.
From figuring out your travel style and how many berths you need through all those layout choices like walkthroughs and U-shapes, digging into key features, pop tops, heaters, batteries, those different bed types. And finally, what really signifies quality craftsmanship from a converter.
Mm-hmm.
I think hopefully you listening now have a much better sort of roadmap for understanding what goes into choosing the right camper van conversion for you.
Absolutely. So maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. With all these possibilities in mind, what is your ultimate camper van dream? Forget the practicalities for a second. Just imagine, where would you go first in that perfect home on wheels?
Ooh, good question.
Think about that freedom, the views you'd wake up to, the places you could explore. What does that look like for you?